Hey cutie foodies, welcome back to my channel. It's the one and only Sweet Pea here, and today we have a Sriracha chicken flavor instant ramen mukbang, and we added some shrimp to it. So I'm not going to be using chopsticks today. I'm going to be using a fork. I totally left my chopsticks in the kitchen, but that's okay. Today's topic is going to be death in relationships. I'm gonna let y'all ponder that real quick. And this has a funky little smell to it. Hopefully it tastes good. Let's see. Tastes like sriracha. Not really getting much chicken though. It is hot. I did just take it off the stove. So let me stop burning my damn lips. I do want to do the 2-time spicy noodle challenge, or try it rather, in some black bean noodles, but it's so daggone expensive. And I'm like, this don't make no sense. So I need to, it's not really a lot of Asian markets in New Jersey. I mean, there's some, but they're all way far from me. I looked on Amazon, astronomical prices. Walmart, forget about it. Yummy Buy is okay, but you only get free shipping if you spend $50, and then it's like $5 shipping. So I'm gonna be ending up paying like $20 for something that I'm probably only going to eat once. No. I don't know. Maybe I'll take a drive to one of those Asian markets, probably on the weekend or something like that, so I could try that. If you want to see me do that challenge, give this video a thumbs up. Eat a couple of pieces of shrimp. And I forgot my bag also. Actually, let me just sit my shells on top of a napkin. And then I have my green pepper sauce Tabasco. This is delicious. I actually have a bigger bottle too, but I want to finish the smaller bottle first. This was for me to try it. Actually, this was the second try because I had a small bottle the first time. So we're going to eat this last shrimp, and then we're going to get into our topic of death in family. In relationships. The hell? Yeah, I need a nap. It is 9:15 in the morning when I'm filming this, y'all. No, I'm eating good for breakfast. I had waffles as well. I just want to get a feel for it. I'm gonna try, I want to lose some weight, as I said before. So my kryptonite is candy and carbs. So let's see if we can win the battle. Now, getting into today's topic, This is going to be part of my Boyfriend Chronicles playlist. I have 2 other videos up there already. And I want to talk about this situation because I want to know, and you can leave it in the comments. Have you ever been in a relationship, whether it just started, you're like a few weeks, a couple months in, or it's been long term, and you've had a death in your family? And if so, how did your significant other, or if it was your significant other, how did you all react? Meaning, like, were you there for that person? Did you attend the services? Did you help them through the grieving process? If they cried, did you hold them? Things like that. Normal, regular, degular shit. I'm going to tell you a story of one of my ex-boyfriends during the time when my beloved Pop passed away. One of the worst times of my life, by the way. Me and my grandfather were very close. He was more so like my father to me than my grandfather. And, you know, we had our spats, like all family members do. But that was my main man. And, you know, I admire him as a man. His work ethic, how he took care of his family, how he took care of his, you know, wives. He was married more than once. Calm down. He wasn't a polygamist. My biological grandmother passed away when I was young, and then he married my grandmother. And they were subsequently married for about, it was over 20 years, almost 30 years. No, it was 20, because when I passed, he was, I was 25. So, yeah. But anyway, obviously, during the time, I had just started dating this guy from my job. I do not recommend workplace romance. He was cool for a time. He was kind of annoying with certain things. He was the type of person, just like, you know, how all of us are, you know, when we're on top, we're on top. We're confident with the shit and can't nobody tell us nothing, you know. And we were working at the same place, and he had a second job. He didn't lose it. He was laid off from the job that we worked together. We worked at the same place, not in the same department. So from that, he was just like, oh my God, woe is me. And he was just in this funk for like a very long time, and it was so annoying. And it's just like, dude, you still have a job, you're still making money, you're still paying your bills, so what are you crying about? Like, if there's one thing I cannot stand, a whiny man. I cannot stand a childish man. Like, I don't like those men that are like tit for tat. Like, if I say something to you, it's like, oh, you got to try to gut punch me or match what I say. Like, what kind of girl are you? Because that's what I think. I don't like it. It's not becoming, it's not sexy, it's not a turn on, it doesn't get the juices flowing. So, and he asked me one day, this was after the fact of my grandfather passing, and I was, you know, quite angry with him still. And he asked me if I thought he was a loser. And I'm the type of person, don't ask me something that you don't want to be answered. And I said yes. Not because he didn't have 2 jobs, but because he let the fact of him not having 2 jobs take him so low to a point where it was like no return. It wasn't that he was never going to get his job back. It's just that, you know, certain jobs, they have that period of time in business where it's like they don't need a certain amount of people. So depending on your job title and your ranking at the job, they will let you go, but they're still going to call you back if you're a great worker. He was a great worker. But my whole thing to him was, during this whole time, if you wanted a second job, you could have went and gotten a second job. You chose to stay home and cry about it and whine to me, and I didn't want to hear that. I had shit to do. And it wasn't listening to you whining for so long. And don't get me wrong, I did, you know, take into account his feelings and everything like that. But after 2 months, 3 months, it's like, yeah. So anyway, getting back to, you know, the story at hand. My grandfather passed away and I was completely devastated. But I felt like I had to be strong for my mom, because she had already lost her mom. And, you know, he was the only parent she had left. And he was around for so much longer after my grandmother passed away, and we were all so close. We always were, you know, going to his house, doing little different things for him and with him. So it was, you know, we got used to, you know, him being around. It's like, okay, it's the inevitable. Everybody's gonna die one day, but, you know, you don't, when it comes, you really don't expect it. So he passes. Of course, I get the week off from work for bereavement. We're doing all this funeral planning, spending time at, you know, his house. I actually have a picture over there that you guys can't see that I took from the house. And some other things. I even have his cane. And each year it just gets harder and harder because he passed. I'm sorry. 2012. It's been 7 years and he passed. We had our last Thanksgiving with him in 2012. So around this time, it's always really hard for me because we didn't get to have a last Christmas. We didn't get to have a last New Year's. But we had our last Thanksgiving and we all spent it at his house. We always spent holidays at his house. No matter what holiday it was, we were there. And that Thanksgiving was so special. And he died right before Christmas. So that Christmas was interesting. But you know, when you have younger kids in the family, you have to push through and you have to, you know, give them the holiday that they deserve. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm sitting here fucking crying. So anyway, this was worse during that time. And this idiot was supposed to be my boyfriend. He couldn't come to the funeral. He couldn't talk to me. He didn't want to come to the wake. He just didn't want to be bothered. And I was like, you know what? During the time when I need you the most. You're the one that pursued me. I never wanted this relationship, but I kind of liked your swag, and you pursued me, and I allowed it, and we got together. And you know, regardless of how long, I believe, regardless of how long you are with somebody, you shouldn't be that fucking cold-hearted that when somebody so close to them passes away, you just check out and, you know, you don't want to be by their side per se. He didn't have to come to the funeral. He could have came to the wake. You know, he could have been with me at my grandfather's house, you know, helping to go through his things, or not even to help go through his things, but just to be there as a support system. I didn't have any of that. You know, excuse me, besides from family, you know, I was on my own, but I'm in a relationship with this guy that can't even give me a full relationship because he just totally was like, oh, I can't do it. The fuck? Okay. No problem. So I broke it off. Like, I can't do this. Like, if you can't be there for me when I'm most vulnerable, and you know, when I lose someone so close to me, like, what if it were my mom and then you're like, oh, I just can't be there for you? What? You only get born once, you die once. You don't get to turn around and say, oh, I missed the birth of my child, let me just have another one. It's not the same. Oh, well, my girlfriend, you know, lost a family member. Oh, her cousin died, let me be there for her. It's not the same. You cannot go back in time. Time is something that is so precious that you don't get more of. And it's unfortunate, but you don't get more of it. You can't rewind what you fucked up and did in the past. We've all been there. We shoulda, coulda, woulda. I don't have any regrets, but, you know, it is what it is. It's life. Shit happens. But something like that, you should be there for people. One of my high school friends, she and I really don't talk much anymore, but when her grandparents passed, I still made note to check up on her, text her, whether it's through social media, DMs, or text her phone. I was there. And that's with anybody else. One of my good friends from high school is having a baby. You know, I couldn't physically be, you know, at her baby shower at the present moment, but I still contacted her, you know, just to let people know that you're there. I didn't get any of that. Not a phone call, not a text. And I had to call him like, yo, like, what's going on? Like, you know, he passed, and it's just, can't do it. So I'm going to say maybe 3 years later, maybe 4 years later, because he and I haven't spoken in a couple of years. One of his brothers died. I don't remember if his brother committed suicide or he was killed, but I know he died. And I'm not going to, you know, lie on camera. So he passed away. And he called me, and he was like, oh, can we talk? And I know a couple of people have said that I was wrong for this, but I don't think so. And you can leave your opinions down in the comment. Either way, I won't be swayed. But just let me know if this is something that, you know, you would have done or wouldn't have done. But anyway, he called me, and, you know, he was just like, oh, I'm so distraught. And I was like, oh, what's wrong? And, you know, he's telling me the story I vaguely remember. And he's like, you know, basically my brother died. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, you have my condolences, and your family will be in my prayers. And that's how I left it. And as you saw, my little mini meltdown, the death of my grandfather is still really hard for me. And I think it's even more so hard because I didn't have that support system from him. So it was like every time that I would try to talk to him, or like he would call me and we would try to talk, it was just like that anger was still there. I was still pissed. I'm not ashamed to admit that. So when he's trying to talk to me and cry on the phone about his brother passing, I'm just like, dude, I just stopped him. And I was basically like, I understand that you're hurting. And I'm sorry that your brother passed away. But, and you know there's really nothing good that ever comes after a but. I told him, I said, I can't do this. Actually, no, it wasn't 4 years later. I believe it was like 2 years after my grandfather had passed, because it was still fairly new and we were still, it wasn't that long ago that I had stopped working at the job with him. So maybe like a year or two. Anyway, however long it was. And I'm just like, I can't do this with you. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, dude, when I went through one of the most traumatic things in my life and we were supposed to be together, you checked out on me. You couldn't, wouldn't, and refused to be there for me. And I said, unfortunately, you are in a position now where you need somebody. But I'm not that person that you need. You have to talk to somebody that can help you, because I can't help you. I said, I don't have any space in me right now to do this with you. Like, it's still fresh from my grandfather, even though he's been gone. This is something that I'm still dealing with on my own. Mind you, I still already have my PTSD that comes along with anxiety and everything else that's going on. And my grandfather helped me a lot, you know, with that. So for me to not have his support on top of not having your support, and we're supposed to be together, now you want me to do for you what you refuse to do for me. I can't do it. I cannot bring myself to muster up the emotions that you need from me to help you get through the death of your family member. I can't do it. And I couldn't. I had no emotion left in me for him. So therefore, because of this situation, I was still angry. I was still hurt. I was still crying. And I just couldn't do it. And I mean, some people say that I'm wrong. Some people say that, you know, that was totally mean of me or whatever. And, you know, we ended up hanging up because I didn't want to hear it or whatever. And I mean, you can say that, but until you walk a mile in somebody else's shoes, can you really say that? Like, was this your situation? That's just my take on it. I mean, have you, like I said, have you ever been in a relationship with somebody and either one of you had a death in the family, but the other person was just like, deal with that shit on your own? Let me know it down in the comments. So I'm going to end this video here. For once, I finally ate all of my food. This Sriracha chicken flavor is pretty good. Of course, the green pepper Tabasco is always delicious. Don't forget to thumbs up this video, like, subscribe, comment, share. If you haven't already clicked on one of these buttons, subscribe here, subscribe there, check out the videos, click on the links down below to send me an email, follow me on Instagram, and of course, check out my daily vlogs on Rumble. So until next time, my cutie foodies, I bid you guys adieu, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.